What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back with career mode for what could potentially be the final episode ever on this game. We'll have to wait and see, but all we need today in order to clinch the championship is 8th place. So, you know, if things go our way, and which I think they might, then it's entirely possible that we could win the championship today. Now, I haven't fully decided whether I'm going to continue F1 2017 beyond this season as well, but I guess I'll kind of decide after this race, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. But we're heading into practice now for the Mexican Grand Prix. As always, still trying to get the resource points. I want to make this McLaren as strong as it can possibly be, because if we do continue on to next season, then I feel like it would be a pretty good challenge to jump in a lower team and then try and chase down McLaren and beat our former team if that does go ahead. So what I'd like to see in an ideal scenario is this car being the best car, but before the season ends. Like, if we can just do the maximum amount of development, especially with the budget that comes in at the end of the season, hopefully we can spend that in the right areas as well. But yeah, still just consistently looking for all the resource points we can get, just like we were at the start of Season 1, Race 1. The goal has not changed. Like, we've been doing the exact same thing for the last 56 episodes, and yeah, I think part of my success in this series has come down to like how hungry I've been for all these resource points. But so far this weekend, it's actually gone pretty smoothly, like more smoothly than other weekends. In all honesty, I feel like the pace right out of the box was just there. Like, the practice programs were much easier to pass and get perfect scores on versus the USA Grand Prix. So that's a much more encouraging thing to take away so far in practice. Normally I always struggle, like it's a rarity that I'm inside the top 5, but here I am, pretty much on the pace of the leaders, and I think it was only practice 1 and practice 2, so yeah, we're looking pretty good at the moment. But we only have 500 resource points to spend, and I thought we're getting pretty near the limit with our final internal combustion engine. And I thought if I do this development now, then we might potentially not need to take an 8th ICE at the end of the season. So hopefully that works, and the 2018 or the Season 4 McLaren will probably need that chunk of reliability anyway, because like, if you guys don't know, the engine of this car wears much faster than all the other cars on the grid. That's just how it's come out. Like, in the box, it's more realistic as well. So if there's any car that needs a little bit of reliability, it is this one. So yeah, I thought I'd go with that because we've been on a bit of a good run so far with a lot of upgrades successfully going on the car. So I thought we're probably due for some bad luck. So I thought I'd just avoid that and go for something that would give me 100% success and a bit of reliability as well. But I think this is qualifying 3. We managed to smash through the first 2 parts of quali on super soft tyres for Q2, so we'll be starting the race on a harder compound of tyre, so that'll be really good for our race prospects and giving us a little bit more flexibility, maybe doing the 1-stop versus the AI potentially on a 2-stop. But here's Fernando Alonso coming through the final corner in Q3. He has absolutely smashed it, and he goes to pole position, just under a 10th shy of his time was our lap. So yeah, Fernando is on provisional pole position at the moment as the checkered flag now drops at the end of Q3. So that major downforce upgrade that we did to the rear wing is really working wonders for both of us, especially Fernando. He is right in the game here, and that long straight, Fernando is losing the best part of 3 or 4 tenths at least through that section of the track. So the fact that he was on provisional pole position is just a testament to how strong his AI car is. But we're going for our final lap here. It's very tit for tat as to whether we're going to beat the Delta or not, but if we get a nice exit off the final corner, then anything's possible. We're going to be up by a 1.5 tenths, and it puts us, I think it was P3. It was P3, so 3 tenths away from Lewis Hamilton, the pole time. Our championship rival, Kimi Raikkonen, the only other man who can win the championship now, P2, and Fernando Alonso right behind us as well in 4th place. So yeah, pretty interesting grid. This McLaren really looks like a front runner now. Up until the last few races, we really have been, I don't know, like a step down from the bigger teams. But now, after a few ultimate and a few major upgrades, we're pretty much level now with the top teams, which is absolutely awesome to see. Look at that R&D graph, just to show the growth that we've had ever since Malaysia. It's just been like an... It's yeah, upward spiral. We've completely blown past Force India, and if we have any more upgrades, if I think the major tyre wear upgrade goes on successfully, then that might put us on level pegging with Red Bull on paper. We're already faster than them, but that might put us like dead even with Mercedes and Ferrari for on-track performance like come the race. So yeah, pretty encouraging signs. We're going to go to the race now, starting 3rd place. All we need is 8th, like I said. Raikkonen in 2nd, so he'll be pretty eager to win the race. But yeah, we're going to do everything we can to make sure we finish and finish in a solid position. But I would love to win the championship in style, so I'm going to chuck in a brand new ICE to give myself a little bit more performance, and hopefully we can win in spectacular fashion. But that has been qualifying for the Mexican Grand Prix. Time for the race, where hopefully glory awaits.
Still in with a chance to win the Constructors' title, so let's make this happen in the last 3 races.
That is very, very optimistic from Jeff there, and that wasn't even on my radar, to be honest, because the Constructors is way out of reach. I think Ferrari are ahead by well over 100 points. There's no point. But anyway, here we are on the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. Like I said, starting on the super soft tyres. We'll be looking to do the one stop today, and I think we'll be stopping around like lap 15, 16, putting on the soft compound tyres and hopefully running to the end. It is fairly close as well with the 2-stop. I think only a few seconds difference as well, so strategy may not come into this as well as what I think it will. Depends on like how well the AI can look after their ultra soft tyres and how far into the race they can go with them. That might be the deciding factor as to who wins this race. But overall, I think this race is going to be one on pace. Like, as it always is most of the time, it's quite rare that strategy will genuinely put you ahead of AI cars sometimes. But sometimes it does, but hopefully with the strategy we have up our sleeve, as well with the pace that we've shown so far this weekend, it can be enough for us to win this race and win this championship in style. So let's do this, possibly for the final time. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Looks like Hamilton didn't get off to a nicer start as what Kimi Raikkonen did on the inside. If anything, it's actually really, really even between all of us. I'm getting slipstream off of Hamilton, which completely draws me alongside Raikkonen and to the outside of Hamilton. Nothing really doing there. Had to brake early, and looks like we pretty much hold on to our position as we squabble alongside with Raikkonen. He gets a really bad run through there, had to mount the curb, and now he has a little bit less straight line speed than what I do due to that really bad run through the first sector. We go to the outside as we head into the middle sector, left-hander, and into P2. Job done. We're ahead of Raikkonen, and now we don't have to worry about him potentially for the rest of this stint. We'll have to wait and see, though. These super soft tyres are going to be quite, I don't know, hard to maintain, like pace-wise, up against the guys on the ultra-soft tyres, but as the laps wear on through this stint, we should get stronger and stronger. The ultra-soft tyre, as a race tyre, is never really that great. It doesn't really hold its own very well in a race scenario, unless you're like at Monaco, where tyre wear is pretty minimal. But yeah, hopefully we can stay with Hamilton. We've leaked a lot of time to him on this first lap. The gap is like 3 or 4 seconds, so not the ideal to the not an ideal start to the race that we wanted. But as we head on to lap 3, the gap to Hamilton is still about the same, about 3 seconds. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and run with him as if I can. I know the race pace is possibly better than what we showed in qualifying. The lap in quali was decent, but I feel like our race pace will be quite a bit better than the AI, because we're like the fastest in the speed traps, I believe. So that does count a lot for the race in overtaking and just getting free lap time. You'd be surprised at how much a straight line speed kind of setup can gain you in the race versus a qualifying scenario. You know, high downforce setups always help you more in qualifying than what they do in the race. But enough about that. Let's get back to the action. You can see we're going purple in the first sector every so often. That is because we are the fastest in the speed traps, and we kind of bottle it in the middle sector. I was struggling a lot in these opening laps just for understeer. I think the the balance of downforce I was running was like 5-6. I was struggling for a bit of rear stability over the course of the weekend through those fast middle sector corners like this one here. I was always just losing the back end a little bit through that final left-hander, and I just had to balance that a little bit. But I know as the race goes on, as the fuel load burns off, the car gets lighter, this car will come alive a little bit more versus the AI. But as we head on to lap 7, we're really starting to pump in some of those purple sectors now, and I think this is the fastest lap of the race. It is 1 minute 18.5, so we eclipsed Lewis Hamilton's lap by about 2/10. So yeah, really good to see that we're able to bang in that time so deep into the first stint, which was yeah, really surprising, because we haven't done any upgrades to tyre wear as of yet. We bought some, but they haven't been applied to the car yet. So this is probably the worst car in the field for tyre wear, and yet we're setting fastest laps. 7 laps into a stint. But Lewis Hamilton is into the pits now. He's going to be putting on his super soft tyres, and I assume he'll be coming in again for another set of supers to finish off this race, and that gives us the lead of the Grand Prix. I think Raikkonen undercutted Hamilton by a lap, so it might be pretty close between those two guys as they rejoin in the race, but Hamilton kind of rejoins in a bit of traffic in the form of Daniel Ricciardo. So the longer that Ricciardo can hold up Lewis Hamilton, that'll definitely help me in my quest to winning this race, because I'm just setting clean laps in clear air and just trying to make the most of the one stop.
Lock on behind. Our gap behind is 12.5 seconds. They're on old super softs. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1 minute 20.3.
Okay, so as you heard there, that was just a little bit of a sit rep on Esteban Ocon, who's on the exact same strategy as us. He's in the 1 minute 20.3s, whereas our last lap was a 1:19.6. So the pace right now is actually really good when you compare it to people who are on a similar strategy like I am. But unfortunately for Esteban, he just gets overtaken by Lewis, and that promotes him up into P2. He's now got clear air, and now is his best chance to kind of close me down. So as soon as that happened, I reacted, and it also corresponded really nicely to my pit window anyway. So we were going to dive in, and we're going to go onto the soft compound tyres, like I said, at the start of the race, and we're going to run to the end of the race now, hopefully. So we've done all the hard yards on the super soft tyres. This was potentially going to be the slower stint, and the stint where we get most of the tyre wear. I think from here on in, on the harder compound, it should be a little bit easier, and we may not get as close to the threshold of the tyre wear like we did in the first stint. But as we rejoin on the track, it's very close between myself and Valtteri Bottas. It's going to be really close here as we dive up the, well, not really diving up the inside. He's overtaking me because I was in front as I exited the pit lane, but we just managed to hold on there. And it's not an ideal situation as well. Like when you're just coming out of the pits, you got cold tyres on. It's so easy to lock a brake, but we picked the braking marker absolutely perfectly there, and we managed to hold on to what is effectively P1 in this Grand Prix. Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton still need to make another stop, and they're only a few seconds up the road. So we're looking really good here for the second half of this race. It all depends on the pace of Raikkonen and Hamilton now, and like what do they have in a response to me versus my harder and fresher tyres. So yeah, it's ultimately going to be down to them now to chase me down, though. We're going to have a pretty sizable lead, so yeah, if they have anything in the locker, they need to step it up now, because we've actually just set the fastest up of the Grand Prix as well, which I was really happy about, because normally when you fit on the harder compound, you don't normally go purple, which is really surprising, or not surprising, but like really encouraging as well, because like it just backs up the fact that we have the pace this weekend as well. With the one stop, we might be a formidable force in this race. But Hamilton finally makes his final stop of the Grand Prix. He's actually gone onto the soft compound tyres, which definitely helps me, because he's not going to be as fast or as potent as what he would have been on super soft tyres. If I was him, I probably would have stayed out another few laps and bolted on the faster compound. It definitely would have helped him in chasing me down. But we'll have to wait and see. We've got 14 laps to go now, catching up to some lap traffic now. Marcus Ericsson getting in our way. This might be a telling facet of this Grand Prix. Who can deal with the lap traffic the best? It could really cost the AI some time, or it could even cost me time if I catch up to the AI in a not so great position on the circuit. But I think the gap now is 11 seconds, 11.6. So it's a pretty sizable lead at this stage. Hamilton needs to catch me by about a second a lap, and I can tell you right off the bat he wasn't doing that. It was probably 8, 9 tenths, so just under that, and I wasn't really pushing to the maximum either. I was starting to look after my engine. I was running in standard revs a lot and only running in rich when it came to the start-finish straight. So if need be, if Hamilton does get fairly close within 5 seconds, then we can step things up a little bit, but at this stage I'm looking after the tyres and making sure I have something to fight with towards the end of the Grand Prix, just in case there's a safety car or anything like that, and also looking after my engine, because like I said, I need to make this 7th power unit, or this 7th ICE, do the final 2 races of the season, and that's going to be a bit of a stretch. But tyre wear, not too bad actually, 34%, as we've got 7 laps to go. Virtual safety car has been deployed. Esteban Ocon is out, and he was previously on a very similar strategy to me, and was probably running in like 4th place, so very disappointing for him to miss out on so many points. But that VSC definitely helped me out, because it allowed me to look after my tyres even further, save a bit more fuel, save a bit more of the engine, and it just neutralised the gap to Hamilton, because he couldn't catch me. We all had to stick to a delta, and it made things much more difficult for him. But now he's finally encountered some of the lap traffic in the form of Marcus Ericsson in the hotel section. That cost him about 2 seconds, I think, and then from there, you know, the win was pretty much guaranteed. I was in control this whole time. I knew I had the pace over Hamilton, and now we're going to flex the muscles and see what we can do with that a little bit on lap 33. I wanted to go for a fastest lap, kind of like Sebastian Vettel of old days in the Red Bull kind of era, how, you know, Rocky would tell him, Sebastian, slow down, you know, just take it easy, it's the final few laps. I just wanted to see what pace I had left in this car, just in case like Hamilton was going to be close. I kind of just wanted to prove to myself that, like, even with older tyres, I think 5 lap older tyres than Hamilton, I wanted to show that we could still be faster than him. And I think actually on this lap in particular, we were actually like extending the gap. Despite Hamilton being in a faster car, having 5 lap fresher tyres, it was really amazing how much this weekend has just really come together. This race has just been one of the best managed. We've just been the fastest pretty much over the course of the race, and the strategy as well was you know, absolutely sublime. It's put us in a position where we're going to win by quite a sizable margin now as we head on to the final lap of this Mexican Grand Prix. I was really just taking it in on this final one as well, just kind of remembering back to the start of this career mode and how far we've come. This car was an absolute dog, you know, in all facets, and now look at us. We are dominating races and just completely in control. As we go through the stadium section for the final time, this is all for us. We're going to win the championship in a McLaren Honda. You better soak this in, because you may never see this again in real life. Not at least for a little while. McLaren is back.
This is it. You've become the Drivers' World Champion after that result. Wonderful job and well deserved.
Questions at the start of the season as to whether this package could really go all the way. But there's no question anymore. What a special year it's been. And here they are now, the new Formula One World Drivers' Champion.
A great weekend, guys. Car was very, very fast. We definitely deserved the points today. Deserved the points many times, but today we achieved it. I did some donuts practice for next year.
It is done. We've won the championship with McLaren Honda. I did not know if this was even going to be possible after the first season. I foresaw a long road ahead, and the progress we've made over the last 2 seasons, especially in this season, season 3, we have made so much ground to the point where it now looks like we're possibly the fastest car. But guys, I just want to say thank you for this career mode series. You guys have been absolutely incredible for the support, and I can only thank you guys so much. If this is the last episode, thank you so much for watching. We're now the champions. I'll see you next time.